What is up, everybody? My name is Hector Flores, host of the Insert Name FC podcast, a member of the Belly Up Sports Media Network. You can find us on all things podcasting at Insert Name FC. Wherever you get your podcast fix from, you will find us there. Follow us on social media on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Insert Name FC. Uh, Plain and simple, man. So there's also that. Uh, For people that want to see video versions of this podcast, the full video podcast is available on Belly Up Sports. Once again, at Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. So that's where you can find us for the full video version of this podcast episode. We do break these episodes down into shorter clips, shorter videos, which is available on Insert Name FC's YouTube channel. So if you guys don't want to necessarily, if you guys don't care for a specific topic on this podcast, that is another avenue that you guys can listen to and to watch as well. Both full video version of the podcast and these short videos are available on Goals TV, goz.tv. You can find all that there. Also, some great content as well over there at Goals TV. If you guys have been listening to this podcast for a long time, you have heard us have Jose Tejas. He is the creator and founder of Goals TV, so make sure you guys check him out over there, goz.tv. So, I hope everyone had a good, safe Memorial Day weekend. Um, as a matter of fact, I'm recording this on Memorial Day. I came back from California and on Saturday. If you guys aren't fully aware, my grandmother passed away. So me and my brother flew into Los Angeles to go bury our grandma, and so it was yeah, quite the eventful week. But we are back now in Texas, and yeah, I gave myself a little bit of a break on Sunday as well. So, but Saturday. So just for you guys, frame reference, I am recording this on Monday, because I didn't have to go into work today because it's Memorial Day. I know Memorial Day is kind of weird. I know some places they're fine with not giving you, like, letting you take the day off, but there's other places that don't take a day off for this day. But anyways, um, but all aside, man, I hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend, and of course, everybody in my family, you know, in time we'll be able to heal from this loss and just know that our grandmother is in a better place, and she's there with our loved uncle. And so I think that there's a beauty in that part. But anyways, so this episode, it's gonna be a pretty long one. We will be recapping the Power Five leagues. All the leagues are done. There's no more league play. Well, as far as the big five leagues, there's no more play. So we'll recap, give you guys who's getting relegated, who's going to Europa Conference League, who's going to Europa League, who's going to Champions League, who won the league, and we'll also mention the Golden Boot winner and the Gold Glove winner, as well. If you guys aren't entirely sure, the Golden Boot is given to the leading goal scorer for the league, and the Golden Glove is given to the goalkeeper who had the most clean sheets that season. So we're gonna do that. We're going to recap the Europa League final. Tottenham has won a fucking trophy, and I'm not happy about it, but we will talk about it in this episode. Also, congratulations to Toluca. Congratulations to H. Toluca beat Club America, so we will be recapping that one as well. So just be ready for that one. But yeah, we'll recap that game. We're going to talk about the U.S. men's national team call-up. Pochettino has released a 27-man roster, a training camp roster, in anticipation to the upcoming friendlies, and of course the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup. We'll talk about the roster. We'll talk about my thoughts of other things as well. So we'll go into detail with that. Give you guys players of the week and some games to watch this weekend. So we have there's a lot of big games happening, but I'm only going to point out three huge ones. One of them being the Champions League final. So we'll talk about that as well. But big episode. Don't know really how long it's going to be, but we're going to make sure it is a fun, informative episode for everyone. And yeah, we'll go right into it. So we'll go ahead and take a break, and then we'll go right into uh, League One.
Let me tell you guys about Belly Up Sports. Belly Up Sports is the internet sports bar. Go ahead and check out their website, www.bellyupsports.com, to read some great articles from great writers all across the country, from hockey, baseball, golf, soccer, you name it. Belly Up Sports is the premier, not your average website.
All right, guys. So we're gonna kick things off with Ligue 1, and the teams that are getting relegated into League 2 is 18th place Montpellier, 17th place Saint Etienne. Fun fact: that is a team that Timothy Chalamet supports. And in 16th place is Stade de Reims. They are in a different scenario in this relegation battle because in that 16th position, they have the opportunity to they have the opportunity to play to stay in League 1. So they have a play-in game with the third place team of League 2. So the winner of that match will end up going to League 1, and the other one gets relegated or stays put, depending how you view it. But so that way you know what's in stake in that one. In the Europa Conference League spot is sixth place Club Leon, no, Olympic Lyon, the other. So as far as I can tell, I was looking around seeing if there was any news as far as the finances that goes for Olympic Lyon. Didn't see anything. So as far as I know, they are staying put in Ligue 1, and they are going to be in the Europa Conference League next season. So they are going to have a European competition. Like I said, man, this season was a little bit trialing for them because of the fact that they had to get their finances correct in order to go to stay in League 1, because if they did not, they were going to get relegated down to League 2 regardless. So just that's just what happened. But all right, in the Europa League spot, we got fifth place Lille. So Lille taking that fifth place spot will go to the Europa League. I think at the end of the day, man, if you can get some sort of European competition, that's extra money for the club, regardless of the level of the competition it is. I think that's just a fair place to be. But Lille gets in the Europa League. Obviously, if they can somehow win it, they get a chance to go to the Champions League. And speaking of that, Champions League, we got fourth place Nice. Nice. There is a little bit of an asterisk to them because they have to play a qualifier to make it to Champions League. So that spot could be an Europa League spot or it could be a Champions League spot. It just depends how Nice does in the qualifier. Third place is Monaco, and in second place is Olympique Marseille. It's interesting because Marseille had such drama going on with them this season because of just the Zerbi at times just wanted out. You know, the whole Mason Greenwood thing. Just yeah, it was weird over there, but they're going to the Champions League. So despite all that happened, they're going to the Champions League. The champions of Ligue 1, which was very much decided, was first place PSG with a record of 26 wins, 6 draws, and 2 losses with a total of 84 points. PSG, which right now has already won Coupe de France, and this weekend they're going to be hoping that they can achieve a treble by winning their first Champions League trophy. So this has definitely been a very great year for PSG. It also is kind of funny because of the fact that you get you lose Mbappe, and I will say I will use the word lose because you didn't get anything in return for Mbappe. You didn't sell Mbappe. Mbappe just left because his contract ran out, which once again that's just bonehead business just in general. But that didn't matter because they went ahead and still made a good run, made it back to the Champions League final after so many years of not being at the final, going back all the way to the COVID season. And here they are. They're in the Champions League. I think their best performance ever in Ligue 1, almost went undefeated, and then also won Coupe de France. So they are on the cusp. They already got the domestic double, but they want the treble. And Yeah, this team looked completely different without Mbappe. It was clear that it was almost as if they just did not have any distractions. And I hate using that word, but that's really what it is. They came in. It was a different team. They played like a unit, and I think that that's what changed it overall for PSG this season. Um, Kvaratskhelia was a great addition in the January transfer window, and yeah, this team was very much poised to make a strong year, and their season is not over yet. They still have one more thing to take on, and that is, of course, um, the Champions League final. So we'll see what happens for them. Can they get the treble? And we'll see, because that is the only team that's going for a treble. Um, at least with a Champions League involving a Champions League. But the guys with the golden boot. So there's two players that ended up getting the golden boot because they were tied with 21 goals apiece. It is Mason Greenwood from Olympique Marseille and Osman Dembele from PSG. This year for once again Mason Greenwood, he just continues his road towards redemption. At this point, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But obviously, what happened with the whole allegations. Obviously, he gets basically booted out of Manchester United, goes to Getafe, and then now is here at Olympic Lyon. Some people are Olympic Lyon, Olympic Marseille. People are hoping that he's going to get a look for the English national team, or probably not. He'll probably end up switching over to Jamaica. I think that that's very much still in the works. Still a bunch of possibility for Mason Greenwood is just to play for Jamaican's national team. Um, and on the flip side, Osman Dembele, once again, probably the year that when you need somebody to step up, and he's the one that did it. Osman Dembele becomes kind of the guy to turn to for PSG this year, with a mixture of other players as well. But 21 goals. Some people are making a strong argument that Osman Dembele should be the front runner for the Ballon d'Or, being that they did win Ligue 1, they did win Coupe de France, and can the cha- I'll say this: just because you win the Champions League doesn't mean you deserve the Ballon d'Or. I'm just gonna say that just because you win the Champions League doesn't mean you win the Ballon d'Or. And the reason why I say that is because yes, does it help validate your argument? It does. But overall, it's the impact that the player has. Now, Osman Dembele impactfully towards PSG is definitely valid. I think that gives him a strong argument for being in the Ballon d'Or discussion. Do I think he's the front runner for the Ballon d'Or? No. I think that he could win the Ballon d'Or, and I think the Champions League will help solidify that argument for those that want him to win the Ballon d'Or. But it also goes down to a lot of combination of other things. It's not just, oh, you win the Champions. This isn't an individual based award. It's about finding the best player in the French media's opinion. Um, Not necessarily the guy that got the most trophies. Now, is there an obvious correlation with great individual performance and trophies? Yes, that's very fair to say. Now, once again, I do fancy his chances. I do believe Osman Dembele has made a strong argument for the Ballon d'Or. Do I think he's going to win it? No. But he will. I do believe he will be up there. He will be up there in the final, in the last three. But that's going to be, and we'll have an episode where we discuss it. But I think Osman Dembele, once again, he stepped up when they needed a guy to step up. You lose Mbappe, and you needed someone to kind of take control of this team and be the guy to get the pressure. But it's not just him, and I think that that's kind of where that argument for the Ballon d'Or kind of maybe, I don't want to say dissolves, but waters down a bit, because of the fact that it was also a combination of Hakimi. There's also Barcola. There's also the young player. I don't remember his name. Duje. I don't know. I can't pronounce his name. But a guy that no one expected him to have the year that he had. You had a lot of guys step up this year. Donnarumma, fantastic year, but it's like I said, do I see him in as a finalist for sure? Can I see him getting maybe getting more votes? Depending on how the season ends, I can see it. But do I see him as the odds-on favorite? Like, there's no doubt. No, I think he could win it, but I don't think it's guaranteed he's going to win it. Is what I'm saying. But we'll see what happens. When we get to the Ballon d'Or discussion. The Gold Glove, the award for the best goalkeeper, the goalkeeper with the most clean sheets, which was Bryce Samba from RC Lens, who had 12 clean sheets this season, and so he gets the Gold Glove. And I think Ligue 1, I think it was kind of how you expect it to go. You expect PSG to win it once again. I don't think that was shocking by any means. Um, was there things to follow? I think once again Olympic Martial with Roberto De Zerbi, a guy that was expected to get the Liverpool job or some sort of high profile job in the Premier League after what he was able to do with Brighton was also interesting for him to go and just take the Martial job. Mason Greenwood, as controversial as he is right now, seeing how does he continue to move on from the allegations. But aside from that, it was just another year in Ligue 1 where once again PSG are champions of Ligue 1. So I think the thing that was different this time around was just the way that this PSG got it done. It wasn't because of Mbappe. It was because this team, which very much looks like a team, um, played for each other and clearly and once again props to Luis Enrique. Uh, I have to acknowledge his coaching ability, but his ability to rally these guys around and say we don't need an Mbappe. We just need this unit, and that's exactly what they did. Once again, Kvaratskhelia was a great addition to this team into the second half of the season, and yeah, this was a really good team, and they're hoping that they can their season isn't done just yet. They're hoping that they can make it even better with a Champions League trophy, and we'll see what happens there. But all right, the Bundesliga. In the relegation zone, we got 18 place VfL Bochum. 17 place Holstein Kiel, and in 16 place Heidenheim. Once again, Heidenheim, similar to Ligue 1, 16 place team plays against the third place team from the second league to decide who's going to play in the Bundesliga next season. So Heidenheim does have a shot to stay in the Bundesliga, and we'll see if that ends up happening for them. The team that's in the Europa Conference League is in sixth place. Mainz. Mainz is going to the Europa Conference League. So we'll see how they fare in that competition. Once again, it's a good opportunity for a club like them. Can they go far and get themselves some silverware next year? We'll see. We'll see what they do. We'll see how they prepare. We'll see how they tackle the combination of Bundesliga and Europa Conference, especially because those games are on Thursdays. But all right, the Europa League, we got fifth place SC Freiburg, who is going to the Europa League. I think a good challenge for them, a good opportunity for them as well. The teams in the Champions League, fourth place Borussia Dortmund. This team started so poorly, to the point where they fired their coach Sahin, and they bring in another coach, and they figured it out. They got themselves into fourth place. So while this is fourth place, has massive implications for them. This is the start of their revival, I guess you could say, for Borussia Dortmund. Can they make some more changes next season? Can they got the Champions League right now? They can lure when they're going after players. This is like, hey, we're going to be in Champions League this year. You can come here, play for some of the best fans in all football. This is a chance that you can what it feels like to wear the yellow shirt, be in front of the yellow wall, all those things. And hey, we're also going to be in Champions League. We want to be the team that can dethrone Bayern Munich as well. It's not just Leverkusen, and I think that's going to be an interesting storyline for Borussia Dortmund going into this offseason. They also have the FIFA Club World Cup as well. So it's a lot to follow for them. See how they respond, how they react in this coming window to make this team stronger because you got Champions League, and it's not like last time because last time Borussia Dortmund got that last Champions League spot because of a technicality. This time they got it because they fought hard from where they were to get back into this position. So I think that is very commendable, and hopefully they can have a strong off season where they come back and not look as shaky as they did last year. In third place, we got Eintracht Frankfurt. I'm really happy for them. I really like seeing this team here. I just want to see them compete, and I think that this is a good opportunity for them to want the same thing. It's Champions League. You get the beauty of Champions League when it comes to the transfer window is that it is just so enticing to any player. It doesn't matter who it is. If you versus another team, if that team doesn't have Champions League, that player is definitely going to not go there. So I think it's a really interesting situation there, but great argument for them. Second place, Bayer Leverkusen. So Xabi Alonso, he's gone, but they got Erik ten Hag. So we'll see how Erik ten Hag can bounce back. And I think that this is a great opportunity for him. I think Ten Hag, for all that he dealt with at Manchester United, this is an environment where he could probably get himself his bounce back. Yes, he's going to lose a lot of players. I mean, Frimpong is set to go to Liverpool. Florian Wirtz, I believe, is going to Bayern Munich. Jonathan Tah is going to Bayern Munich. Grimaldo, I think there's possible rumors that he's going to go to Real Madrid to join Xabi Alonso. A lot of players are leaving, so that's going to be a big challenge for him. But he's going to be in an environment that I think could be very good for him, and he knows how to hopefully he can find some hidden gems. I think that this is a good spot for him if he can keep this team afloat, which once again it's going to be a challenge because they're going to lose a lot of players. It can say a lot for Erik ten Hag. One, it could say that it was not him; it was 100% Manchester United, which I think if you're Edward or a Manchester United fan, you hope he fails because it just once again adds more onto the whole thing that Manchester United is just a dumpster fire of a club. And so we'll see what happens there. But that's going to be another interesting storyline to follow for next season. Erik ten Hag, Bayer Leverkusen, that's going to be really interesting. I thought Xavi Hernandez was going to get the job, but I guess they felt that ten Hag was more up their alley. So we'll see what happens there, man. And the champions of the Bundesliga is first place Bayern Munich with 25 wins, 7 draws, 2 losses, a total of 82 points. Look, man, I told y'all from last year, and I was so happy that Leverkusen won it last year, to go on the undefeated run that they did. But I just had to point it out, like for Bayern Munich, who had more points than they had the previous year, which they won the league that year, were second. Or I don't believe they were second. I think they were third. But they had more points than they had the year they won the trophy. Once again, Leverkusen win undefeated. It took a team to go undefeated to dethrone Bayern Munich to end the streak, which I'm perfectly fine with. I'm cool with it. I'm not a Bayern Munich fan. I can frankly give a rat's ass about what happens with Bayern Munich, but Bayern Munich is still the standard of the Bundesliga. It's just like how Lille won Ligue 1 a couple years ago. Like, it was cool for them. It was awesome. It was great to see them, win Ligue 1. But at the end of the day, you just know PSG is still going to be there. Bayern Munich, once again, has the resources that just the other teams just don't have. They're going to stay in this conversation. They're going to still be on the top part. They're still going to compete for Champions League. They're still going to compete for this, that, and third. And on top of that, you just add Jonathan Tah. You got Florian Wirtz. I'm sure they're not done with making moves. I think that they're probably gonna go after Ronald Araujo from Barcelona. So this team is not done. They're far from done. They are going to, and Thomas Müller gone, but you just got it, Florian Wirtz. I mean, talk about. I don't want to say upgrade because I think Thomas Müller is definitely one of the best players when it comes to Bayern Munich's history. But you get what I mean, right? You lose a guy like Thomas Müller and you add a Florian Wirtz who might be the perfect replacement for Thomas Müller. Him and Harry Kane could be a partnership if Harry Kane does stay with Bayern Munich. And on top of that, Harry Kane wins a trophy. Harry Kane finally wins a trophy. I suppose another club that I want to talk about, but yeah, this was strong year for Bayern Munich. They made a statement. Do I think any praise is given to Vincent Company? I think mentality wise, I will give it to him. But I think it's once again, it's Bayern Munich. They just have so much going on. They can't fail. Is really the reality for that team. So, but congratulations to Bayern Munich, man. They once again proved everybody that they are in fact the standard of the Bundesliga, and it's going to be like that for who knows if this starts a new streak. I hope not, but this could start a new streak. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you just don't know what's going to happen with Leverkusen. They're about to get cleaned out. They're going to lose players, and it's going to be on Leverkusen on how to recoup from those losses. And the same thing for Borussia Dortmund. There's just so many questions of what's going to happen. How are they going to respond? I think they have a really good team. They have a good core, but what do they do to add that extra piece, that piece that solidifies them as one of the best teams in Germany? So there's a lot of question marks, and the thing is with Bayern Munich, there's no question marks. If anything, we already know they're going to be stronger. That's the other thing. We know they're going to be stronger. You add Jonathan Tah to your back line. You add Florian Wirtz. That team just got stronger. The Golden Boot is Harry Kane from Bayern Munich, who had 26 goals this season, the Golden Boot winner. I believe their trophy is a little cannon, so that's pretty cool. And Golden Glove winner is Peter Gulaxi from RB Leipzig with 14 clean sheets, and that's unfortunate because they're not even in any of these competitions, next year. So, and I mean, they're probably going to lose Xavi Simons. They're going to lose a lot of players, RB Leipzig. So we'll see. That's going to be another team that's going to be interesting to follow in the next coming days.
Hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast, here to tell you guys about candid dips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Candid Dip CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BELLYUP20 at candidipcbd.com. Once again, BELLYUP20 at candidipcbd.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Candid Dips for being a great partner of Belly Up Sports.
In the Serie A, we're moving on to the Serie A. Serie A in the relegation zone, we got 20th place Monza, 19th place Venezia, and 18th place Empoli. So from here on out, there is no play-in game. If you're relegated, you're relegated. So that's what's going to happen for those three. Venezia, man, if I need Gianluca Busio to find another club. I think it's cool that he stayed with them when they got relegated the last time, but he need, especially, I mean, we're going to talk about that U.S. men's national team roster. He needs to go somewhere where he's going to be able to play more often, especially once again going into next season where it's going to end with a World Cup in the summer. You're going to have to find a place where you can play, and we'll see what happens there. All right. In 6th place and in the Europa Conference League spot is Fiorentina. So Fiorentina is back in the Europa Conference League. Hopefully they can maybe win it this time. So we'll see. Progress, slowly but surely. Maybe one day Fiorentina can win it. In the Europa League, we got 5th place Roma. So Roma will be in the Europa League this year, this next season. So we'll see what happens with Roma. I want to see them do something, man. I want to see someone, take charge of this Roma team and put them back on top of Serie A, but who knows. In the Champions League, we got 4th place Juventus, 3rd place Atalanta, and in 2nd place Inter Milan. It took till decision day to decide who was going to be the champion. Inter Milan did not win the Serie A this year. Because the champions are in 1st place Napoli with 24 wins, 10 draws, and 4 losses with a total of 82 points. Napoli, under Antonio Conte in his first year, wins the Serie A, wins the Scudetto. And that was awesome. It was fun to watch Napoli. They did it without Victor Osimhen, which I think is also another interesting. Like this team was props to Conte. The crazy part of all this is Conte might be is rumored that he's leaving Napoli after 1 year. This guy is going to leave Napoli. Where's he gonna go? I have no idea. I think the rumors might be AC Milan. I think maybe Juventus, but it is crazy. Though I do believe Allegri is supposed to be the guy that they're going to be hiring to replace Antonio Conte. But yeah, your first year with Napoli, and dude, this is crazy because this is what Antonio Conte does. Minus what forget what happened at Tottenham, but the dude just wins everywhere he goes. Like it's just crazy. Once again, don't look at Tottenham, but that yeah, man. And he's gonna fucking leave, dude. What is this? What is this insanity? But yeah, Napoli champions of the Serie A. The Golden Boot winner was Matteo Retegui. Retegui. I don't know. But from Atalanta, who scored 25 goals. So good for him. And the Golden Glove winner is Alex Mere from Napoli with 17 clean sheets, which is probably the reason why they won the championship. So, yeah, this season for Serie A was very enjoyable. I mean, the fact that it took to the last day to decide who was going to be the champion was even great. This was awesome. This was fun to watch. Serie A is fun. If you guys don't watch Serie A, I am so sorry, bro, because you guys are missing a lot of fun. AC Milan, not even in this conversation. So, they need to get better. There's going to be so many storylines happening in Serie A. A lot of changes are going to be happening in Serie A, especially with the coaches. Antonio Conte is going to be the name to watch who he takes over because this guy just knows how to fix teams, especially Italian sides. And so we'll see what happens. Does he take the AC Milan job? Does he take the Juventus job? What does he do here? It's going to be a lot of fun. And I mean, season's not done for Inter Milan. Inter Milan is going for a Champions League trophy. So Serie A can have some great representation next season. And so we'll see what all transpires over there for the Serie A. But yeah, this has been a fun league. It started out very crazy because of all the draws that it initially started. But yeah, this is going to be fun. Serie A, I do believe Serie A is back. I do and wholeheartedly believe Serie A is 100% back. And I can't wait for what is about to transpire over there. But we'll push into La Liga. In La Liga, the teams that are getting relegated is 20th place Real Valladolid, 19th place Las Palmas, and 18th place Leganes. I was hoping Leganes could avoid relegation, but they did not. Fun fact, 17th place was Sevilla. But yeah, I was really hoping that Leganes could make a run. Unfortunately, it just did not happen. It was not in the cards for them. In 8th place in the Europa Conference League spot, we got Rayo Vallecano, which I think that's a great competition for them. I think that if they can make a strong push over there, I think that could be good for them. In the Europa League, we got 7th place Celta Vigo and 6th place Real Betis representing La Liga. Real Betis, by the time this episode drops, we'll know if they won the Europa Conference League because they're playing against Chelsea for the Europa Conference League final, but it's already going to be played by the time this episode drops. So regardless, they're going to be in the Europa League. Whether they win the Europa Conference League or not, they're going to the Europa League. So, and I think Celta Vigo, this is really cool, good for them. I think this is a good opportunity for them. So we'll see how they do in that one. Now in Champions League, there's 5 Champions League spots for La Liga this year. Don't necessarily remember why, but they are also going to have 5 Champions League spots for next year. In 5th place, we got Villarreal. Really happy for Villarreal. I think this is really good for them, good for their club. Once again, for these clubs that are kind of like, I don't want to say mid-table teams, but teams that don't necessarily get as much shine, but do fairly well in certain competitions. Villarreal is one of those teams. And also, once again, you got that Champions League shine, man. Now you get a chance to use the Champions League as a selling point when you're going after players for player acquisitions. So I think that's going to be really good for them. In fourth place, we got Athletic Club Bilbao going to Champions League. I think this is going to be really exciting for them. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of things to follow with them. Nico Williams very much out the door. How do they replace him? And obviously, Athletic Club Bilbao is very unique because they only get players from Basque, so a more specific region in Spain. So we'll see how they handle it. Who rises for Athletic Club Bilbao, which is going to be really interesting. So we'll see what happens there with Athletic Club Bilbao. Third place, Atletico Madrid. Um, it's going to be really interesting this offseason. Diego Simeone very much likes Johnny Cardoso from Real Betis. He looks like they're going to go all in for him. As well, Christian Romero from Tottenham is also rumored to be going to Atletico Madrid. The man just knows how to find dogs, and I think next season we'll see how, with this core of players that have already looked really strong for him, how does he amplify that, and how does he get more out of them, and maybe they can get into the conversation of winning some trophies next year. In second place, we got Real Madrid. It's funny because this is basically everyone's going to say this is a down year for Real Madrid, and you're also probably not wrong. As far as the standard goes for Real Madrid, right? Not a single trophy won this year. Not one. Well, I guess no, not a single trophy won this year. You got swept by Barcelona. Not only in regular season play, whether you can Copa, Spanish Super Cup, La Liga, Copa del Rey, but you also got beat by them in the preseason. So just to add more salt onto the wound, you could not overcome Barcelona at all this year. Not even in a fucking friendly. So, but I don't think it's Mbappe's fault. A lot of people are gonna blame Mbappe, but Mbappe did what he was supposed to do. I was kind of nerve-wracked a little bit by Mbappe initially, but it wasn't Mbappe's fault. I don't necessarily think that there's really anybody at fault. I know some people are going to try to pin it on Vinicius Jr. Oh, he's a it's funny how Vinny becomes a distraction when the team's not performing. But when they're winning and he does the same exact shit that everyone complains about, it's fine. You tolerate that. But when they're losing, that's when you're like, oh, he's a distraction. He needs to leave. I don't know how many people have told me that Vinny needs to go. It's fucking unreal. Unfortunately, I think Rodrigo is going to be out. I believe that they're still going to keep him for the Club World Cup. I think that's going to be his. Right now, everybody's trying out for their job. Everybody is playing for their job right now. In this FIFA Club World Cup, who's probably going to be in that FIFA Club World Cup, they're going to be playing for their job. There's guys that are safe. Like Vinny, like Mbappe, like Bellingham, like Thibaut Courtois. But there is also a whole mess of people that are not safe. They are not safe at all. They need to figure it out. And we'll see what happens in these next coming days. So we're going to see. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see how this all is going to transpire for Real Madrid. Now Xabi Alonso is now the new man in charge of Real Madrid. It's not even Ancelotti's fault. A lot of people are blaming Ancelotti as well. It's not his fault. Real Madrid has never defended. Has never defended. I hate saying that. Have never repeated. They have never won a consecutive league title. They've gone consecutive when it comes to Champions Leagues, but for league titles, they have never been able to repeat, to win consecutive league titles, and it's crazy. That's a crazy thought. I think under Ancelotti, specifically under Ancelotti, that they've never been able to do that. But recently, as far as I can recall, I don't think they've ever actually consecutively won La Liga. But yeah, Real Madrid, also interesting team to follow the next coming days. I mean, they went and got Højlund from Bournemouth, so he's coming to Real Madrid. They're going after Carreras from Benfica. I'm sure there's going to be more players they're going to look after. I think there's a lot of players that might be leaving. Obviously Luka Modric will not be returning to Real Madrid. Lucas Vázquez will not be returning to Real Madrid. Jesus Vallejo will not be returning to Real Madrid. There's a lot of guys that are very much out the door, and it's going to be interesting what Real Madrid does to replenish the squad, because it's not going to be a rebuild. It's not a rebuild. It is very much building another strong club and seeing if Xabi Alonso is the guy that can lead this team to be better than what they were before. So we'll see. But champions of La Liga, first place, Barcelona with 28 wins, 4 draws, and 6 losses with 88 points. Once again, they swept Real Madrid this season. A season I don't think that this was a season that everyone had super high expectations of Barcelona. I think everyone wasn't sure about Hansi Flick. Everyone wasn't sure about the financial situation for Barcelona, and Barcelona figured out their finances. They're back for one status when it comes to their so whatever they get given, whatever money they get, they can spend it right back. So this was, an interesting year for Barcelona. They hit it in every aspect. I think that they exceeded expectations. I think everyone is praising now Hansi Flick. He has now looked like the savior of Barcelona. Making a whole new evolution to this tiki taka using the academy, because it wasn't about acquiring all these players. It was about utilizing the academy, working on their fitness. This team to be as active as they could be with the high press and still be able to get results, and to stay active with that high press throughout the game. It just once again shows Hansi Flick's importance to physical fitness. The ongoing joke that we made here on the podcast, which was, did you run a mile? If not, whether or not you ran a mile, go run 5 more. That was yes, it was a joke, but it very much was the mentality of Barcelona, how to make sure that this team was as fit as possible to go the distance that they win. And they got a domestic double. Some people are going to say domestic treble, but I don't count Spanish Super Cup. But they still, they won the Spanish Super Cup, which I think was a pivotal moment for Barcelona, because that, once again, handle business against Real Madrid. Copa del Rey, handle business against Real Madrid. And then win La Liga, in which in some aspect, sweeping Real Madrid was what sealed it for them. The only thing that didn't pan out for them was they didn't win the Champions League. I think the reality is, as much as they're doing so well with this high press, it can also expose them. And I think that that's going to be the next question. What the next adaptation of this Barca team is going to be. What can they fix to kind of no longer be the high press team? Because the high press, it's especially if you have an athletic group of players, it works to your advantage. But it can be exposed. It can be exposed. And I mean, there was glimpses this year that you could see how the high press can be exposed. Inter Milan showed you how to expose the high press. Real Madrid even showed you how to expose the high press. It's all about timing and positioning. If you have a guy like Kylian Mbappe and you can time your runs perfectly, they're going to get exposed. I mean, Vinny, another example. So, and which is what happened with the Dumfries Acerbi goal. They timed the ball well. They got the goal in a breakaway, and that's what happened. It's going to be interesting what Barcelona does. I think Barcelona has been a very fun team this year, and this is coming off of a Madrista's mouth. They have been so much fun to watch. They've just been enjoyable. Lamine Yamal is phenomenal. Rafinha. Hansi Flick resurrected Rafinha. This guy went from being, this guy's a bum, he's not good, to now you could possibly make a strong argument for the Ballon d'Or for him. Lamine Yamal has a strong argument for the Ballon d'Or. So that is just, and also on top of all these things, while Robert Lewandowski did play, it wasn't all because of Robert Lewandowski. It wasn't. But yeah, I think that this is a very good Barcelona team. I think Barca is 100% back, and they're just going to get better. They're just going to get better. So it is going to be on Real Madrid. It's going to be on Atletico Madrid to improve their squads, because this isn't a one-time thing for Barcelona. Barcelona is going to be in the conversation for a lot more competitions. They're no longer the team in the bad financial status. They are back. They're using the academy. Hansi Flick has the right coaching strategy. They're poised to be. They're gonna win a Champions League at some point. They're gonna. I'm just telling you guys how I see it. But congratulations to them for winning La Liga. Well, winning La Liga, winning Copa del Rey, and even winning Spanish Super Cup. Golden Boot winner Kylian Mbappe from Real Madrid with 31 goals. I believe he's also going to be the leading goal scorer amongst all competitions as well. I think so he won. He got that as well. I think in order for that to have happened, I think Lewandowski needed to score like 7 fucking goals or something. Well, Salah needed to score like a hat trick. But yeah, but Kylian Mbappe, he's the Golden Boot winner for La Liga, and I think also winning I think it was called the Pichichi. But anyways, Golden Glove is Jan Oblak, who had 15 clean sheets this season. I keep telling y'all, man, Jan Oblak is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. I keep saying it, and everyone thinks I'm crazy, but yeah, La Liga was really fun. I think it. I kind of said it, man. I think this year's gonna be weird, and it was. It was weird, but in a good way. It was a fun year. Once as putting my Madrista to the side, it was 100% a fun league this year. Obviously, putting my Madrista back here, it fucking sucked. It's one thing to. The thing that sucked was just the fact that Real Madrid couldn't get a single trophy this year, and that is what caused Ancelotti to get fired. Which, once again, I read it. I read it in this. I read it. The writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall because this was exactly what happened when they won La Decima. Team played flat. And I'm not going to use the injuries as an excuse. The team was just flat. Team was just flat. Yeah, injuries happen, but that injuries happen to everybody. And of course, that's what happened when they won La Decima, which then Ancelotti got fired, which led to Rafa Benitez. Luckily, that's not happening. It's now Xabi Alonso. But now I hope Xabi Alonso pans out because I don't want another Rafa Benitez incident. And because Real Madrid is not shy from firing somebody. If they don't think it's working, they're gonna end it right now. So we'll see what happens there, man. But all right, the English Premier League, the teams that are getting relegated. 20th place, Southampton. 19th place, Ipswich Town. 18th place, Leicester City. The teams that got promoted this season are getting relegated this next year. So are getting relegated. It just happens. The guys that are complaining that what's the point? The point is if you're not doing enough in the transfer market it's one thing to stay out with the core of players that got you here. It's a whole other thing to get players that have experience of staying afloat. It's a whole different thing. Also, sometimes when you have good players, they get sold. And if you do not recoup what you lost, this is what happens. Now, there is plenty of cases of teams that get promoted and stay at least a year in the Premier League. They just didn't they didn't have the right strategy, and that's why they're getting relegated back down to the championship. And that's perfectly fine. These teams, we're going to see them back. They're going to come back to the Premier League at some point, whether it's next year or whether it's 2 years after or whatever. They're going to come back. Maybe, well, we'll see what happens with Ipswich Town, but they're going to come back to the Premier League. It's just what happens. This is what happens, more often than not. So there's nothing wrong with them getting relegated. It is the nature of the beast. But if you want to stay afloat, you have to make you gotta make moves that's gonna keep them afloat. That's all I'm saying. In the Europa Conference League spot, we got 7th place Nottingham Forest, which I think is a really good place for them. I think this is a really good opportunity for them. So I'm really happy for them. So good spot for them. In 6th place, we got Aston Villa for the Europa League spot. Yeah, man, Manchester United, very controversial finish for them in the Manchester United game. But yeah, because of that, Aston Villa not going to the Champions League, a team that was very much in the Champions League conversation all throughout the season, and this is what happened. Now, to be fair, they let that lead slip away. To be fair, just gonna point that out. So. But yeah, Aston Villa going to be in the Europa League, which I think is a good place for them. I think it's a fine place for them. We'll see what happens with them though, because I think that there's rumors of Debo Martinez possibly leaving Aston Villa. So we'll see what happens over there for them, how they recoup losses, how they add new pieces to this team, especially with the Europa League, because the Europa League it's an opportunity for Champions League, just another opportunity for Champions League. So we'll see what happens there. Speaking of Champions League, they had 5 spots for Champions League. In 5th place, we got Newcastle United, so they're back in the Champions League. 4th place is Chelsea, their return to the Champions League. Obviously, they have a shot at the Europa Conference League. So once again, by the time this episode drops, we'll find out whether or not they won it or not. 3rd place, Manchester City. So after getting just reamed by every team, they found themselves back in the Champions League spot. So, which I think is a good bounce back for them, especially as how stressful this season has been for Man City. I think to get themselves back in the Champions League spot is very commendable. 2nd place, Arsenal, which for the 3rd straight year, 2nd place. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. I'm really hoping that they do something this transfer window, this offseason, to make this team a valid contender. That's all I'm going to say. They are rumored to get Rodrigo, but I don't know what the fuck that helps with. But besides just me being happy that my adopted son now plays for Arsenal. But we'll see. We'll see, man. I can't wait. I'm going to be intrigued because I think at some point, you're going to have to have Arteta be accountable. At some point. Do I think this is the point? We're getting very much so. Very much so. But they're in Champions League once again, so we'll see how that... Once again, it helps validate any transfers that they want. They're going to have that Champions League to use as a selling point. So we'll see what happens there. And champions of the Premier League is 1st place Liverpool with 25 wins, 9 draws, and 4 losses to have a total of 84 points. Arne Slot's first year with Liverpool, and he wins the Premier League. Hey, Jurgen Klopp approved this guy. And it worked out. I mean, mind you, he already had one hell of a team. That Liverpool team is very much loaded. And they're going to get stronger. You're going to lose Trent Alexander-Arnold he's going to Real Madrid, but you're gaining a Frimpong. Luis Diaz might be out the door, but dude, this Liverpool team, I can't wait to see what they do. They're going to be stronger. They're going to be a strong team. I think that I think Arne Slot was the right coach to go after. It's funny how Ten Hag, it didn't pan out for them at Manchester United, but I think Arne Slot I think it's a combination of just Arne Slot having the right approach, and then at the same time, there's no doubts about the locker room at Liverpool. That's the difference maker. Is at this point, look, I'm not trying to make this a Manchester United hour. Plus, they didn't even fucking qualify for anything. But also I should point out that Crystal Palace is also going to Europa League because they won the FA Cup, and Tottenham obviously is in the Champions League because they won the Europa League. But yeah, Manchester United. If you want to try to figure out what was different versus Manchester United versus Liverpool when they got Ten Hag, when Manchester United got Ten Hag and Arne Slot going to Liverpool, it's just the players worked. The players played for each other. The locker room is healthy. That is why. That is exactly why it worked out. So, yeah, that's exactly why it worked out. But yeah, Liverpool, fantastic year. It was never a doubt. They had the lead and they held on to it. That's exactly what happened. Golden Boot winners, Mohamed Salah from Liverpool with 29 goals. And I believe he is staying put. So Good for them. Gold Glove winner is a tie between David Raya from Arsenal and Mats Hummels from Nottingham Forest with 13 clean sheets apiece. Yeah, just yeah, good. I think this year for the Premier League was really interesting. Obviously, Man City slipping up like they were was an interesting story to follow. I was all for Tottenham's downfall, and unfortunately, it ended with them winning an Europa League trophy. Their first, finally winning a trophy, their third trophy in their third Europa League trophy in their club's history. But still, it is what it is, man. Like this year was really entertaining. You had some good moments, you had some good drama. The questions will be for the next season, like what does Liverpool to do to keep their team strong? What does Arsenal finally go get a nine? Finally go get a striker. Um, what comes with Manchester City? That's a sleeping giant. Are they going to wake up next year? Chelsea, have they figured it out? Are we going to see Manchester United back somewhere in the top part? Is Tottenham going to be back in the top part somewhere? Sutherland returning to the Premier League. I can't wait. I can't wait at all. I can't wait. I can't wait for next season. But all right, we'll go ahead and take a break, and then we'll go into the Europa League final recap.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
All right, guys. Europa League final. It happened. Tottenham beat Manchester United 1-0. Manchester United had 74% of the possession. Manchester United also outshot Tottenham 16-3. 6 shots on target for Manchester United to 1 shot on target from Tottenham, which was the goal in the 42nd minute by Brennan Johnson. And Tottenham wins their third Europa League in their club's history and will play in the Champions League. Tottenham has finally won a fucking trophy. Also in the year that Harry Kane finally wins a fucking trophy. I was really, really hoping that I would never see Tottenham win a trophy in my entire lifespan, and unfortunately that's not the case. But to be fair, Tottenham was really solid defensively. They did what they needed to do to prevent Manchester United from scoring a goal. It was just a frustrating part. In reality, Manchester United it was just frustrating watch for Manchester United. They just could not put one in the back of the net. They had vast majority of the possession, and they just, once again, it's all about substance. It's not about quantity. It's about the quality. And at the end of the day, Tottenham put one in the back of the net, and Manchester United did not. And Tottenham defended, and got the trophy. And not only that, but are going to be in the Champions League. They're going to the Champions League. They're going to be in the Champions League this year. And to all those people that are complaining that, oh, this is an embarrassment, like this should not be the Europa League final, shut the fuck up. This is the whole point of these tournaments. This is the whole point of having a League Cup. This is the whole point of having Europa League and Europa Conference League, because hey, your season may suck in league play, but if you can fucking put all your eggs in the fucking Europa League basket, you're going to the fucking Champions League. That's the whole fucking point of this. That's the reality. That's the whole point of this. It's not about who deserves it. This isn't, what if, shoulda, coulda, woulda shit. Your team didn't make it to the final. Everyone knows if you make it to the Europa League final and you win the Europa League, you're going to the Champions League. It's fucking simple as it is. They've broken it down to Barney style to the point where they can tell you that, hey, you did this. You're going. Yes, would it have been funny if would it have been crazy if Tottenham getting relegated and still competing in Champions League? Sure, but still, that they did what they were supposed to do. Same thing with Crystal Palace. They finished 12th and they won the FA Cup. Now they're going to the Europa League. Are you going to say that's unfair? No, that's what they were, that's the rule. That's how we supposed to do it. So, am I mad that Tottenham won? Fuck yeah, I am. I fucking hate this team. But they did what they were supposed to do. That's why they're going to go to Champions League. They have earned the Champions League. Because whether they did it in the league table or went through this Europa League, because they finished in a good position to go into the knockout round, and they won every matchup in the knockout rounds, and they got to the final and they won it. If you're saying that that's not fair, bro, that fucking sucks. Like, I'm sorry, that sucks. That's not what you want to do. They went through a gauntlet. They went through a gauntlet to get here, and they had to go against another team that was also just as down bad as they were in league play. So, no, I have no fucking sympathy for teams that, oh, so and so. No, that's what happened. It just happens. It happens. Tottenham's going to Champions League. There's nothing wrong with that statement. There's nothing wrong with it. They won the Europa League. They did what they were supposed to do. Just like if Chelsea, well, Chelsea's going to be in Champions League, so it doesn't really matter. But that's what you're supposed to do. It's how it's done. Those are the rules. Just because you're not happy that Tottenham or Manchester United was going to be in the Champions League next year does not change the fact that Tottenham is going to the Champions League next year. Because, how many years did Sevilla, who were very much mid-table teams in La Liga, win the Europa League and were in the Champions League the next year? They did what they were supposed to do. The Europa League, that is why you have the Europa League. So, if you're mad about it, I don't know, fucking create the Super League then. I don't know what else to tell you, but congratulations to Tottenham. You won the Europa League and you're going Champions League. So, congrats to them. Manchester United, figure it the fuck out. That's all I gotta say. But, alright, taking another break, going into Liga MX.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
All right, guys, the 2025 Clausura for Liga MX is done. First place, Toluca beats second place Club America 2-0. The first leg was a 0-0 performance, which I was, thank God, by the way. I will say, I think, okay, the positive thing from this year's Clausura was that the first leg wasn't a blowout. So I think I understand the changes that Liga MX made for the playoffs, because I think when they had it the format before this one, which was the reclassification round, which you had teams from 12th place probably getting a shot at the teams at the top four, you had games that were very much decided by the first leg. This time around, the first leg was very much competitive enough to where the second leg was still in play. And that's one thing I will give props to Liga MX. I do think that they need to maybe get rid of the play-in round. Just let the top 8 compete. Just let top 8 compete. That's it. But aside from that, man, such a fun final. It was so America had 63% of the possession. Toluca outshot America 15-4. Toluca had 3 shots on target to America's none. America did not have a single shot on target in this final, and I think props to Toluca defensively. I know we said that Toluca was very much was the best attacking team this season, but that doesn't shy away from how well they did defensively. They still did very well defensively as a team. It's just they got overshadowed more by the attack. I think props to Toluca to be able to go up against this defense, and it was more so just catching this defense slipping. I think that's exactly what happened with both these goals. They found their opportunity. I mean, one of them was a set piece goal, but I mean, still, it was, you created that. They got I believe it was a foul or a corner, but they got themselves in a position where they can create a set piece, and they get the goal, which was in the 65th minute by Luan Garcia was the first goal, once again off a set piece. Then the second goal was a penalty. There was some controversy by the penalty. I can't really tell you. It just depends on the angle. There were some angles that looked like a penalty. There were some angles that didn't look. It looked like he got the ball first, but they got a penalty. They rewarded, and Alexis Vega puts one in the back of the net in the 8-second mark, which pretty much just ended it. That it was going to take a full on miracle from Club America, who once again applaud Toluca's defense. They just stayed locked in and made sure that nothing, they weren't going to give anything away to this Club America team, and that's why we got the result that we got. And Toluca has finally won their 11th Liga MX trophy. It's been 15 years since Toluca has won a Liga MX trophy. I've told y'all plenty of times that Toluca is the third most successful team in Liga MX, and like I said, man, this team, since they started the rebuild that they went and got a massive overhaul of players, and little by little, slowly but surely getting a little bit better, bringing in coaches with a ton of Liga MX experience, but it just wasn't enough. The thing that was different for me was one. Well, you get Alexi Vega back after, I think, probably just not a great stint at Chivas, but now he's back in Toluca where it all really started for him. He's the captain of this team. Do I think he has a shot at Europe? I think it's getting a little too late now for him, but I think him making himself a staple in Liga MX could be even much more rewarding for him. If he gets a shot with Europe, I'm not saying don't take it, go for it, but he's just a really good player, and I think he gets slept on a lot. But the captain of this team, adding guys like Paulinho, I think Ache being just a good acquisition. Obviously, once again, he's not a starter, but he coming off the bench and also just being overall just a great locker room presence. Gallardo, another good addition that they brought in, and I think on top of all that, to bring in Antonio Mohamed, I think was just the perfect addition as a coach. I think he brought the mentality to this team, the mentality that this team needed. It was him, and I think that all that encompassing, they got better and better through each year. And obviously, Antonio Mohamed was this season specifically, but still, they got better and better each year. And then on top of all of that, their push for the final was very overwhelming. You go up against a team like Monterrey, who has once again a lot of experience in this tournament. You go up against Tigres, another team that has so much experience winning this competition. And I mean, yes, Toluca has a history, but this is like fairly new to a lot of these guys. And then go up against Club America, who was going for a 4P. You can't make this up, man. You just can't. Great performance. I'm so happy for this Toluca team. Like I said, I have a huge soft spot for Toluca. But yeah, so happy for these guys. They deserve it. And Ache, a man that has won everywhere he's been. He's won trophies with Porto. He's won trophies with Atletico Madrid. He's won trophy. He won a trophy with the Houston Dynamo. It was an Open Cup. When he was at Pachuca, he never was able to win Liga MX with Pachuca. The man now has won a Liga MX trophy, and that makes me really happy to say. I think once again, a guy that just deserves a lot of good stuff for him. I wonder how long he keeps playing, but yeah, I'm happy for the guy, man. Great season for Toluca. They were the best team in Liga MX all year, and they get to enjoy that being the best team in Liga MX all year. Now, it's not over for America. America this weekend does have a play-in game for the FIFA Club World Cup, so it's not necessarily all bad for them. But tonight, this week belongs to Toluca, and I'm so happy for them. So, congratulations, Toluca, champions of the 2025 Clausura. Solid performance, but all right, guys, we'll go ahead and segue right into the U.S. men's national team.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
All right, guys, the U.S. men's national team has dropped a 27-man roster, training camp roster. June 7th, they have a friendly against Turkey in East Hartford, Connecticut. And then on June 10th, they play against Switzerland in Cashville, Tennessee. And, of course, June 14th, the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup kicks off, which the USA will play on June 15th, the next day, for their Gold Cup campaign. This roster is a 27-man roster. For the Gold Cup, it is supposed to be a 26-man roster. With that being said, I do believe that this is the Gold Cup roster. They will just be cutting one player, and I can guarantee you I know which one is going to be cut. So here is the roster for this June summer column. Goalkeepers, we got Matt Freese from New York City FC. We got Patrick Schulte from the Columbus Crew. Zach Steffen from the Colorado Rapids. And Matt Turner from Crystal Palace. Goalkeepers, I'm not really shocked by. I think Patrick Schulte and Zach Steffen have been guys that he's been calling up pretty frequently. Matt Freese is an interesting one. I think he's done fairly well with his time over at New York City FC. Would I have chosen him? I think he's valid. I think you're only gonna play one guy. One guy's only gonna play in the tournament. But I don't know. Obviously people think of Diego Cochin, but I don't think it really matters. I think Matt Freese is fine, and then Matt Turner. With all that, I'm gonna go on a full rant on this, by the way, but I'm surprised that he's on this roster. By the way, I know I said that he was someone that we should be calling up, but I'm still surprised by this because just of what's transpiring, and I'll get to that. But defenders, there's 8 defenders that got called up. We got Max Arfstead from Columbus Crew, which I think he's technically a winger. I don't know why they consider him a defender, but all right. Sergino Des from PSV, happy to see him back with the U.S. men's national team. Alex Freeman from Orlando City. DeJuan Jones from San Jose Earthquakes. Mark McKenzie from Toulouse. Tim Ream from Charlotte FC. Chris Richards from Crystal Palace. And Miles Robinson from FC Cincinnati for some fucking odd reason. No Joe Scally. No Anthony Robinson. No Cameron Carter-Vickers. No Austin Trusty. No Noah Kai Banks. Yeah. Yeah, I really don't have words right now. But I don't think it's all bad. I don't think it's all bad. But yeah, those are the defenders. Midfielders, they're taking 10 midfielders. Or at least allegedly. We got Brendan Aronson from Leeds United. Tyler Adams from Bournemouth, happy to see him there. Sebastian Berhalter from Vancouver Whitecaps. Johnny Cardoso from Real Betis. Luca De La Torre from San Diego FC. Diego Luna from Real Salt Lake. Jack McGlynn from the Houston Dynamo. Quinn Sullivan from the Philadelphia Union. Malik Tillman from PSV Eindhoven. And Sean Zawadzki from the Columbus Crew. Interesting. Very interesting. No Yunus Musa. No Gio Reyna. Interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, forwards. Patrick Aguiman from Charlotte FC. Folarin Balogun from Monaco. Happy to see him there. Damian Downs from FC Cologne. Interesting name. Brian White from Vancouver Whitecaps. And Haji Wright of Coventry City. No Christian Pulisic. No Josh Sargent. All right. So before I get more in depth with this, you choose to not call up certain players because you want to give them rest for the big season that's coming ahead of them with the 2026 World Cup at the beginning of this summer next summer. Christian Pulisic, who had a really good year on a not so good AC Milan team, did not win a single trophy. I mean, well, they won the Super Coppa Italia, but he asks to not play for the U.S. men's national team this summer because he wants to rest for this. And people are gonna be like, "Oh, maybe he's injured." No, because they asked for rest. They want to rest because he played so many minutes this season for club and country. But he loves his national team. No Yunus Musa, who didn't play as many minutes as Christian Pulisic. No Joe Scally, who played a good amount of minutes for Borussia Mönchengladbach. No Anthony Robinson. No Cameron Carter-Vickers. No Austin Trusty. No Josh Sargent. And some people are going to ask about, okay, Gio Reyna. I didn't anticipate him being on this call up anyways because I think he just needs to figure out his next club. Um, and I know some people are using the FIFA Club World Cup. Maybe he might play. I don't know. They haven't really shown that they want to play him, but I guess that's a valid argument. I'm pissed. I'm really pissed off because this goes back to my argument of why I don't think Christian Pulisic is a captain. Everybody, because the thing is, you're using this argument. How crazy would it say that you don't want to use that same argument for the World Cup? What would be so? Oh, because it's the World Cup. We're talking about the 2025 Gold Cup. This is the final competitive competition, competitive play you're going to see till the World Cup. There's friendly, friendly is one thing, but you're talking about games that have consequences if you don't perform. And some people are gonna be like, what about injuries? Injuries happens everywhere. On the training ground, on games, on friendlies. Injuries happen. It's an unfortunate thing about this game, but if that's your valid argument that you don't want to get injured, then don't fucking play professionally. Yes, this is, for the people that question the mentality of this U.S. men's national team as soft, this just validates even more how soft this team is. And old man yells at cloud. I don't give a flying fuck right now, but it is just fucking embarrassing. It is fucking embarrassing. This is the last competition that you're gonna have before the World Cup. This is the last chance you can really evaluate guys in a competitive setting. Yeah, maybe they might want to compete in the friendlies, but this is as close as it gets to real competition. And yes, I get it. It's the Gold Cup. And yes, it's CONCACAF. There's players that have opted out. Keylor Navas has opted out every time in the Gold Cup. I get those things, but we're not Keylor Navas. U.S. men's national team is very much bringing out some sort of hybrid A-B team to this thing. The reason why I'm saying some A because of the fact that you do have certain players that would be starters in general for the U.S. men's national team. And what's funny is that I am so happy Johnny Cardoso's here. I'm so happy he's here because it just makes me realize how much of a better player he is versus Christian Pulisic. I like Christian Pulisic. I do agree that Christian Pulisic is the best player on the team. But I don't know if he's the best leader. You have Tyler Adams here. And I've said that that he should be the captain of the U.S. men's national team. Sergino Dest didn't opt out. He's here. And so people were like, oh, well, he's been injured, so he hasn't really been able to, but he's here. Anthony Robinson isn't here. No Joe Scally. No Cameron Carter-Vickers. No Austin Trusty. And I mean, Austin Trusty is not necessarily the one that I'm more fixated on, more so Cameron Carter-Vickers. Chris Richards is here. Mark McKenzie is here. I already said Johnny Cardozo, but I'm going to point him out again. Malik Tillman is here. Balogun is here. And Haji Wright is here. Some people are going to say, where's Alexander House? Well, he might be getting a chance to play in the Club World Cup with America. So for the guys that are in that are in the Club World Cup, like Weston McKennie and Timothy Weah, I'll even throw Gio Reyna in that conversation as well. I think that they do get a pass because they're playing in the Club World Cup. But everybody else should have been on this roster. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. It's not a good look on Christian Pulisic. You look spineless. I am sorry that you feel tired. I really do. I really do feel bad that you feel tired. But as someone that constantly gets ridiculed that you get constantly ridiculed, you would think you would want to step up and be there for the team. You made this stupid fucking documentary series that people keep shitting you about. That you want to be the best in the world. The best players in the world don't fucking miss out on competitions. I don't care that it's the fucking Gold Cup. This was the last time you get to play competitive matches before the World Cup. And Pochettino, I'm sorry, but you fucking spineless fuck it. Sorry for Cousin Kelsey. You spineless fuck. You let them. U.S. Soccer Federation. You let them. If this was AC Milan, if this was any of those teams, if they were in the FIFA Club World Cup, and I guarantee you, if AC Milan was in the FIFA Club World Cup, Christian Pulisic would be playing. Not so much, oh, I played a full season. Oh my God, my body hurts. I need a rest. But I bet you if AC Milan was in that FIFA Club World Cup, you would be playing. Stop me if I'm lying. But I've been saying this. I've been saying that Christian Pulisic is not a captain. He's not a fucking leader. He plays. He's a good player. Just because you're a good player doesn't mean you're a good captain. And I've said that plenty of times, time and time again. He should not be wearing the captain's armband. Because he just doesn't he doesn't understand it. And I hope he understands that this was gonna look bad on him. I hope he made this decision knowing it was gonna look bad on him. Because it does. It looks 100% bad on him. It's fucking embarrassing. You can't go on a speech after fucking getting embarrassed in the Nations League. Saying that, oh, I love this team and I want to play for this team. And a chance to redeem yourself from that Nations League. Go into this tournament as much as you want to say it fucking sucks. Lift the Gold Cup. Win the Gold Cup. That's how you fucking show everybody that you fucking care. That you're going to take accountability for what happened. That you want to do better. That's how you do it. And you did not. And U.S. Soccer allowed it. U.S. Soccer is just as much to blame. But like I said, we got to look at the roster as it is. So for everyone that's trying to figure out which player is the one that's getting cut, look, Matt Freese might be the guy. But if you're talking about resting and you're talking about for resting's sake, I don't think that's the argument for this one. But for Matt Turner, I think he needs to figure out his club situation. He needs to figure because he was on loan to Crystal Palace, so he's going back to Nottingham Forest. So, and he needs to go somewhere where he's going to play because once again, 2026 World Cup, that guy needs to be playing in order to be considered, at least in my opinion, to be considered the starting goalkeeper for the U.S. men's national team. He needs to go somewhere where he's going to play. Whether it's the fucking MLS, whether it's the Belgium League, whether it's Liga MX, I don't give a flying fuck. Go somewhere where you're going to play. He needs to go somewhere where he is going to play every single day because as a goalkeeper, you need to be playing. That's just the point blank example. He needs to be playing. So I don't care where. He just needs to go play. So, um, so I would say Matt Freese does get cut for the FIFA Club World for the Gold Cup, but I wouldn't be shocked if Matt Turner gets cut. Is all I'm saying. But I think Matt Turner does stay, and I do believe he's going to be the starting goalkeeper for these friendlies, and he will be the starting goalkeeper for the Gold Cup. I believe that wholeheartedly. The defense. So obviously Sergino Dest at the right back spot. I think we're gonna see Chris Richards and Mark McKenzie as our center back duo. Dude, this is just fucking bullshit. But all right, I just don't know. I think because of who he's been using, I think Max Arfsten becomes the starting left back. I think it's weird because I think he's actually a winger for Columbus Crew, but that could be where he ends up. He could be the starting left back because once again, Alex Freeman, this is going to be his first time with the U.S. men's national team, and DeQuan Jones, I mean, hasn't been called up in a long time, so I would imagine Max Arfsten being the guy that starts opposite to Sergino Dest for the back line. Midfield, I can very much just see it being Tyler Adams and Johnny Cardoso as like the dual sixes, and then we'll have Malik Tillman at the cam spot. It could, and I'll say I'll keep it like that. Yeah, Malik Tillman at the cam. The wings, I'd say on the left we'll have Diego Luna. Uh, striker will be Balogun, and on the right, probably Haji Wright or Brandon Aronson, one of the two. Look, do I think this team could win the Gold Cup? I think this is still a roster that can very much compete in the Gold Cup. I don't. It's gonna go down to mentality, and I think you got players with mentality here. I think Malik Tillman and Johnny Cardozo have an opportunity to prove themselves because I know as playing for the U.S. men's national team hasn't been great, but this is an opportunity for them. This is a time where they can show what they are capable of. So I think that this is a good opportunity for them. I think if to take some sort of positivity from this call up, it's going to be who really wants to be here, who really wants to compete. Diego Luna is a guy that wants to compete and gives two shits of who he plays against. These guys want to win. The guys that are getting called up here want to win and show their worth and say, "Hey, fuck those guys that don't want to play, that don't want to be here. We want to be here, and we want to be here in 2026." That is the statement that these guys are going to have to give. Now, depending on what Mexico and Canada does for their call-ups, which I will be very intrigued by, I do believe Alfonso Davies will not be available just because of the injury, but these teams are not same thing for them. This is the only competitive matches they're going to get because they don't have World Cup qualifiers. They're in it. So I might be intrigued to see what Mexico has for their roster. Same thing for Canada because it's going to show you who's taking this a lot more seriously than who. Is Jesse Marsch taking this more seriously than Pochettino? Is damn it, what's Mexico's coach? I can't believe I'm not remembering his name. This is great podcasting, by the way. Javier Aguirre. Does Javier Aguirre care more than Pochettino? Because once again, for these teams, this is the last competitive matches that they're getting. From here on out, it's going to be friendlies. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. But yeah, I'm fucking pissed off. Um, I'm fucking pissed. Christian Pulisic just because if this was any other fucking national team, everyone will be chomping at the bit to represent their country, to play for their country. Especially how embarrassing the last matches were. They want to redeem themselves. It's fucking infuriating that like the fans are more pissed off than the players are. Like I can see why the frustration from Eric Winalda. I can see the frustration from Herc Gomez. I see the frustration from every fucking former U.S. men's national team player when they see what these guys are fucking doing. I hate that it's like this generation versus that generation crap, but it kind of is. It just the mentality isn't fucking there, and it's been the same fucking conversations we've been having about this fucking national team. That the mentality just isn't there. Everyone plays hurt. You're not fucking different. What's making you different is that you're like, oh, I just want to bow out right now. I don't want to be in this competition. That's what makes you different. And it's fucking embarrassing. It is fucking embarrassing, bro. It pisses me off. Because I want to cheer for this team, but you guys don't fucking help me. I want to tell people that this U.S. men's national team is better, but you guys don't fucking help me. I get why everyone makes fun of you. I get why everyone calls Christian Pulisic overrated. I get it. Trust me, I fucking get it. And you know what? You're right. Christian Pulisic is overrated. And for people to understand why I say that, we praise Christian Pulisic. From an American standpoint, Christian Pulisic is very much legitimate. From an outsider's perspective, especially when they're used to this, a player that comes out of the academy isn't news. It's not shocking. A 17-year-old playing first team football is not new to nobody. That's just that's almost every other year. Now there's players like, for instance, Lamine Yamal, who's playing at a very high tier level. That's unique. A guy that could be important to the club. That's unique. A guy that's is the reason why the team is winning. That's unique. Christian Pulisic, when he was called up by Borussia Dortmund, was not the reason why Borussia Dortmund was winning. He just did his job. The way I would sum up Christian Pulisic, it's the person that is wanting acknowledgement for things you're supposed to do. The person that's like, hey guys, I pay my bills. Well, no fucking shit. You're supposed to pay your bills. The person that deserves praise is the guy that, hey, not only did I pay my bills, but I also invested extra money so I can so my money now works for me. That's fucking impressive because people don't save money at all these days. So, to a broke person, someone that pays their bills is like, hey, man, that's pretty fucking good. To someone that handles what they need to handle, that's just fucking every day. That's not different. And that's the viewpoint that most people from Europe see from Christian Pulisic. There's nothing different about him. He's just another player. But Americans hype him up because they've never seen a player like this. And that's probably why the best sums up. This is why people can't stand Christian Pulisic. Is because we give him this treatment like he is a world-class player. In reality, he's just a regular player. And it's just a great representation of U.S. soccer as a whole, right? But yeah, so that's the roster. June 7th, Turkey, East Hartford, Connecticut. June 10th, Switzerland, Nashville, Tennessee. And June 15th will be their first match in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. So be on the lookout for that one, guys. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and then we'll go right into Players of the Week.
Hey, everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
All right, guys. Players of the Week is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an amazing ticketing site, app, however you want to use it. It has a very simple grading system when it comes to tickets. It uses colors and numbers. If it is very low and super red, that means keep scrolling. You're going to find a better seat, a better deal for you. If it is green and super high of a score, that means for that price, for that seat, go ahead and buy them. Enjoy your event. Me and Edward love using SeatGeek for all the events that we go to, from concerts to live sporting events. And if you guys aren't sold just yet, if you guys use the code BellyUpSports at checkout, you'll save $20 off your first purchase. First-time users only will save $20 off their first purchase when you use the code BellyUpSports at checkout. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets. My player of the week is Kylian Mbappe, who scored 2 goals in Real Madrid's 2-0 victory against Real Sociedad. And Edwards' player of the week is Bradley Barcola, who scored 2 goals and assists in PSG's 3-0 win against Stade de Reims to win the Coupe de France. So, also, guys, this is probably the last time we're going to do players. We'll do one more players of the week, actually. But yeah, because international play, we do not do players of the week. So, but all right. Congratulations to Kylian Mbappe and Bradley Barcola for being our players of the week. Once again, guys, use that code BellyUpSports at checkout for first-time users at SeatGeek.com. Once again, use that code BellyUpSports to save $20 off on your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. SeatGeek, Life's an event. We have the tickets. Games to watch this weekend. We have the FIFA Club World Cup play-in game which is LAFC versus Club America. LAFC were the runner-ups of the CONCACAF Champions Cup between Club Leon, which Club Leon won. Obviously, Club Leon is not eligible to compete in the FIFA Club World Cup. So LAFC is there because they were the runner-up, and Club America is the highest-ranked CONCACAF club. So they're going out to see who is going to the FIFA Club World Cup. So be ready for that game. CONCACAF Champions Cup also is this weekend. We got Cruz Azul taking on the Vancouver Whitecaps. We're gonna see who wins it all for in the Champions Cup. And of course, Champions League final, Inter Milan versus PSG. Will Inter Milan lift another trophy since 2010, or will PSG finally lift their first Champions League trophy? We'll see what happens there, man. Obviously, there's a lot of other soccer happening this weekend, but these are the ones that we recommend you guys to keep an eye on. So get ready for that. So we'll go ahead and wrap this show up, man. Thank you so much for listening. Check out bellyofsports.com. Lots of articles being written. Obviously, NBA, NHL playoffs are still very much in the deep of it. You know, obviously, there's always going to be NFL talk. There's going to be lots of stuff in the sports world as far as here in the U.S. goes. So if you guys want to see it, go ahead and check out bellyofsports.com. Also, follow them on Instagram and the X at bellyupsports, so you see what's all being posted there. Shout out to Goals TV, GOZ.TV. That's how you can watch the full video version of this podcast as well. We love all the content that's being dropped there, man. You'll see me from time to time at Wake Up MLS. But give them some love, man. Follow them on Instagram at GOZ.TV, goals.tv, and on the X at goals_TV, GOC_TV. That's goals_TV to see what's going on over there at Goals TV. And of course, shout out to Roosevelt Spencer. He is our producer, our beat maker extraordinaire. He makes all the beats. If you guys love the intros and outros and you need some beat work of your own, hit him up on Instagram at thatguydope. Once again, at thatguydope. And he will take great care of you like he always does with us. We love Spencer so much that we've named our Roosevelt Spencer Player of the Year award after him. So we promise you that he's going to do a great job for you guys. But all right, guys, thank you so much for listening to episode 220. I think it's 220 now. Holy shit. But sorry for cussing. But yeah. Thank you so much for listening. Catch us next week for episode 221, where we'll recap the Champions League final. And we'll probably talk about some other stuff. So thank you so much for listening. Catch us next week. Take care, guys.